Yeah, Cassie. Come here, my three-legged little friend. Come here. Hey guys, we're back. I guess everybody's probably been wondering, why I haven't been out and what's been going on. So that's what this video is about. I haven't looked at the boat since it broke down on me that day back in, I guess 4 months ago, out there in the sand flats. It's been a few things. One, job change, getting adjusted to my new store, new job, new work time, and then two, mainly Cassie had. Well, let me kind of give you a history on Cassie. Back in 2018, when I was up in Colorado, I was up in Durango. We were down there in, I think it was Animas Park or whatever it was, along the Animas River. She was out running and chasing, running around, just doing her thing like she normally does. And she tore her ACL in her left leg on this side. She completely separated it and could no longer put any weight or anything on this leg. This was 2018. This was about late August, about this time of year. Well, late August, more closer to September. About the last half of August in 2018 when she did that. I took her into one of the animal emergency hospitals there in Durango, and they knew right away what it was. They x-rayed her, and of course there was a complete separation here in her knee. On a dog, their knee is up here. We always think that it's back here, but it's not. It's right here is where their knee is. And she completely tore all the ligaments and just completely separated them out. Good, really massive tear. So she had to hobble along for a few weeks, for a week and another week as we were out there. It took another week to get back to here, to Texas. And then I had to go into the to my vet, and then my vet had to refer me to a specialist up in McAllen, the Laguna Madre animal hospital there in McAllen. And they took care of her. And then within a week, they had done the surgery on her, reattached her leg, and then she healed, and she did really well, actually, really well. It didn't take her long to start walking all again, and all fours, and running, and all that. So what just happened here, like about 3.5 months ago, Cassie was out here running around chasing the cat, and she tore her ligament on her right leg, and she couldn't stand. She was hobbling around on 3, so I took her back to the Laguna Loop, because they're the ones that had done the surgery before on her. And the doctor that had done that surgery, the veterinarian, he apparently had retired, and there's a new one now that has taken over. And the consultation with him is due to her age. He couldn't believe how old she was, because he came back when they went in. First they took her in there, and I had to wait in the waiting room, and they were examining her. And then they called me to the back where she was at, and he just wanted to confirm and verify to make sure if the dates in her file were correct. And I said, yeah. She was born in 2007. So that puts her, at 15 and a half years old, basically dog. Well, in our time, 15 and a half. She's actually older than that in dog years. Dog years aren't really, I don't know how to explain it. I'm not an expert, but what I do know is that everybody talks about 7 years for every 1 year of a human's life is a dog year, and that's not really right. That's wrong. Let's put it this way. A 1-year-old human dog, that's 1 year old of human years that you've had for 1 year, that is the same age as a 30-year-old human. So at 1 year, a dog is equivalent to being a 30-year-old human being. At 4 years, a dog is equivalent to being as old as a 50-year-old human being. So that's why most dogs live up to about 8 to 10, maybe 12 years, because they're super old. The smaller the breed, the longer they can live. The bigger the breed, it seems like the more trouble that they have. And it's kind of weird because, like, I think over in Spain, the oldest dog recorded living, it's still living. I think it's a lab, and it's a pretty good sized dog, and I think it's like 33 years old, human years old. So that makes that dog way over 100, man. I mean, you're talking pushing almost, 150, 175 years old in actual age. But I think it's in the Guinness Book of World Records. It holds the title of the longest living dog so far. So anyway, so Cassie is older than the hills. She may not look like it in the videos, but she is. She's older than me. I'm 56, gonna be 57. She's a lot older than me. She's probably almost double my age. Basically double my age is what she is. And as a dog progresses in older years, getting older, yes, they age, but their age slows down. They age, it's weird. A dog ages real fast, and then after it hits the 50 mark, then as each year comes, the cycle years come down on that. So like I'm saying is, it's not true when they say it's every 7 years. Because for some reason, it's kind of like you ever wonder, like a possum. A possum, they study possums because possums have a genetic defect. A full lifespan of a possum is 4 years. From being born to the time that they die. They have really, how should I say, their cell decay rapids real fast. And so you see a lot of scientists, they study the possum because if they can crack that genetic code to where they can extend that life, then you know what I mean, then they can extend life for humans, and all that. So there's a lot of tests and a lot of studies out there if you're interested in that kind of thing. But a possum is true. A possum has a fast life cycle. The only thing that has probably a faster life cycle than a possum would be a dragonfly. A dragonfly, I think, only lives for about 15 to 30 days, and that's it. And then its life cycle is over with. And but anyway, back to Cassie. So Cassie injured her leg again, and she wouldn't be, I didn't want to put her through going out on the boat, and so I just kind of put the boat on the back burner because she's the star of the show. She loves going fishing, and I needed her to try to heal up as best as possible because their recommendation from the Laguna Loop was that they didn't want to do the surgery. That was their recommendation because due to her age, they didn't want to put her under and put her through that because the operation's like 45 minutes, and plus they don't even do it. He didn't even want to do it because since he's a new vet, just taking over, he didn't even want to attempt this kind of surgery on a dog's leg. He would have to find somebody to refer me to because he'd just taken over the practice, and there's nobody down here apparently from what he was telling me. That the closest place would probably be either Corpus or San Antonio, and he was leaning more like San Antonio, and I want to say Blue Pearl Animal Hospital or something up there, which I don't really know nothing about him, but he would have to reach out. He doesn't have any connections. So that's how he left it with me, that if I wanted to pursue it, that he would try to find some contact and find a referral to send me to have her operated on. But his recommendation is not to have her operated on and just to leave her as she is, just due to her age, as advanced as she is in age. So I waited. I just waited to see what was going to happen with her. When you don't have a damage like on a ligament, anything dealing in a joint area fixed, arthritis sets in real fast, and that's either a dog or a human. It's the same thing. Arthritis, it's just your body's way of coping with it, to stiffen it up, to stabilize it, so that you could, semi-use it. So that's what I did. I just waited to see what would happen, and so she hobbles around. I mean, her running days have been over with, and she still tries to run. She used to run everywhere. She used to jump, run, all that before she tore her first ligament on her left side. Then she stopped jumping, but she still ran. And now she's, I think her running days are completely done. So she's hobbling around. She walks, but this is the side, So it has stabilized some. But I just didn't want her to re-injure being out on the boat. Give her some time. I'm still looking at some kind of brace, because all the braces that I've looked online, I don't really think they work. I think they're just there to sell you money, and they show you all these videos of these dogs that have been healed by this. And I haven't seen one yet, and they cost a lot of money too. They're not cheap. I haven't seen one yet that's impressed me, that I think that actually gives support and stabilizes her leg, so when she's walking, it doesn't put a lot of pressure on her knee. So I don't know, maybe when we go out, we will, I'll wrap it up or something, I don't know. But that was one of the main reasons why we haven't done anything. Well, I haven't been out. That was really the main reason. I've been itching to go. I thought about going down to the jetties and making some videos, and down to the pier and making some videos, which I probably will still do. I'll probably do some surf videos. But, this is drift fishing the lower Laguna Madre, man. So we love the drift fish. Me and Cassie, we love drift fishing out there in the grass flats, chasing redfish. So I haven't even looked at the boat since it broke down, so let's see if it even fires up. So let's get over here and let's take a look. Let's see what we got going on. I got the keys. It's been sitting for 4 months, and let's take a look. Let's see what we can do. Let's see, I think it's this key for the boat. Yeah. So, here, hang on guys. Let me get down here. We do need to clean it up. It needs to get cleaned. It's been sitting here for a while. Like I say, for 4 months. So let's take a look. And like I say, the issue I had out there was the crank no start again. As soon as I got out to the sand flats, my drone malfunctioned and I couldn't get it back to me. It would just go up and down, and I was already drifting away from it. So I had to put the skeg in the ground to anchor the boat, and I had to get out of the boat and I had to walk back to the drone, which, I mean, you can see it in the video, and retrieve my drone. But when I tried to get up, it ran fine all the way out there from the dock all the way to the sand flats. It ran fine, but when I tried to get up in the sand flats, I did like 1.5 turns, and it just, and all it do is crank. No fuel delivery. So my thinking is it's the mechanical fuel pump. I mean, or there's another air breach in the line and the line won't prime up. Once the fuel's gone, it won't prime. Or 2, it's in the VCT or VST that I got, the VST I think it's called. It's like a bowl, with a float in it to store the fuel. I've never serviced that on this boat, and I don't think it's ever been serviced on this boat. But I did buy another electric fuel pump. I bought one for the first time and put it in line, and yeah, it worked nice, but the problem was it shot too much fuel, and the fuel was coming out the exhaust and just coming out here and going into the water. So I bought a lower volume fuel pump, so if I need to put it on, I can put it on. It's still got a full tank of gas, and that's from 4 months ago. I didn't even use any gas when I went out there. I filled it up, we headed out, so we got it on, we got the muffs on. So let's take a look. See if this bad boy will fire up. Actually, we'll set it straight like we normally would. Let's set it like that. Let me go turn on the water. Be right back. Okay, so the water's on. I'm going to prime it up. Let's see. And see, that's the thing. You see how it doesn't prime? So that makes me think there's air in the line somewhere. And I've replaced the line from the tank to here. I have not replaced the line from here. Or maybe I already... Oh, from here to the motor. And see, for some reason it doesn't prime up. I don't know what's going on there. But let's do this and see if it primes up this way. Put the engine at an angle and let's see if it'll prime this way. And see if I can see any fuel coming out anywhere there. So you see, when I see this, that's telling me that there's air in the line. That the line's not sealed, and that's why this thing's not priming. That's my first thought. Hear it? Starving for fuel. You hear that? You know, it's revving a little bit. It shouldn't be doing that. Yeah, it's surging a little bit. Surging. That's telling me it's starving for fuel. There's a matter of time that it's going to start completely out and it's not going to, and it won't start. So when it does that, one, it can be, there's air in the line somewhere and it's sucking air up into the VST or VCT or whatever it's called, and air is getting in there, and as the fuel is being shot out in the injectors, and it's not getting its full amount of fuel that it needs, and it's starving. But hell, it fired up. After 4 months of sitting, when it wouldn't even start before when I brought it back. I need to change the water pump on it too. I got a new impeller. I need to change the impeller on it. That's been a good while. Another thing that's been a good while too that I haven't done with this boat is I need to service the wheel bearings. My spindles. This is an old boat trailer. I bought it used, and it has, the spindles are pretty rusted on the back side. Let me see this here. already replaced all three, and this one's the oldest one left. That's Carlisle. I'm not a big Carlisle fan. I hate Carlisle tires. I've always hated them because I've always had bad experience with them, and on any of my trailers that I've ever put them on. They always, how can I say, I don't want to, let me see. What happens with Carlisle tires is they start to get spider cracks on this back side here. You know, if it starts out here, you've already got them splitting back here. It always starts on the back side of the tire for some reason. I don't know why. And they're 10 ply rated tires, supposedly heavy duty. In any trailer I've ever put them on my Dargo boat trailer, they'd always blow out all the time. On my gooseneck trailer, blow out. On my flatbed trailer that I have back there, that I got my F350 cab on, that's in the back here, same thing, would blow out. My cargo trailer, the white box one that you normally see that's sitting here, that I got sitting over in the driveway, same thing, blow out. And I've always hated it because there was never, that was always considered the top rated tire. So it's getting hot, so let's turn it down, see what's going on here. So, as I said, I do need to replace the water pump. It's due for an impeller change. We'll turn the water off. All right. Let's take it out. All right. So the boat runs, but still, I'm going to look into the delivery issue because it will. There's something going on there. Either I got error from where the filter is to the motor, or the VST is clogged up. The filter inside of there gets clogged, and if it gets clogged, then no gas can push through there. Because this boat motor has, it's got 4 fuel filters on it, I think. Yeah, it's got the big main spin on that's down inside the box. It has, and then as you come up, then it's got a separator one. There's a filter in there, so that's 2. And then past the separator, there is another inline filter, that's 3. And then there's one also inside of the actual VST or VCT container that stores the fuel that's used to dispense to the injectors on this motor. And it's a pain. I've looked at schematics on this to be able to take it off, and you got to remove everything. You got to remove the manifold, you got to remove the exhaust manifold, you got to get everything, because it's behind it, and they wrapped it over the top of it. So the fuel rails all got to come off first. Then the manifold, and I think the manifold and the exhaust manifold are together on this. I'd have to look at that, I'm not too sure. But that's got to come off, and then not breaking a bolt because the motor's so old, and bolts are corroded from being in salt water. That always becomes an issue. So yeah, so at least it fired up after sitting for 4 months. So we have our work cut out for us. I guess tomorrow we'll start looking into it. I got an impeller. I need to put an impeller on it. It definitely needs that. for sure, because it started to overheat right now right before I shut it off. So that's telling me it's been due, and I've known it's been due for an impeller because it's been a while. I usually change it out every year, and I know it's been probably almost 2 years now, if not longer, that I haven't changed it out. Being out there in the salt water and in the flats and in the sand flats and in the mud flats, it's really tough on the impellers. So if you use the boat a lot, like I do, you should change it out every year. That's just a good rule of thumb. I mean, if you don't use it that much, then you can probably go about 2 years, and you should be doing it, every 2 years, changing out the impeller. But this boat does get used a lot. So it's just an old, like I say, an old flats boat. Nothing special. So we need to work on that before I can get back on the water. I need to kind of go through that. I did buy an electric fuel pump, like I mentioned earlier. I got another one that's a lower volume one, which I would like to put in. That way I always know I have fuel, or I'll have it on the boat. So if I ever do have a fuel no start situation, all I got to do is just plug the electric fuel filter in line, and it'll send fuel to the injectors, enough pressure, and I can get back. And I won't be stranded like I was this last time dragging the boat through the flats. But it was a beautiful day. I mean, it was a beautiful day out there that day. And, that's just, it's how it rolls sometimes. That's the hand you're dealt sometimes. I did see a lot of reds, though, when I was walking on my way back from the sand flats to Bird Island, to where those guys picked me up. Those guys were lifesavers, man. I've been walking all day. I think I've been walking like 3 or 4 hours, man, dragging that boat. We were about, I don't know, quarter of a mile to Bird Island when these guys came across us and picked us up and brought us back. Yes, I really appreciate that. Those guys really came through, man. Anytime they need anything, I'm here for them. But anyway, so I just noticed also my light's not working back here. So oh, there it is. So it's this one. You see how it's intermittent? It's barely got any voltage going through it. So I don't think it's the light. I think the light is good. I think what it is that there's corrosion somewhere in the line, so I need to check the switch. And then up here, because I think there was a connection piece here somewhere too that it was connected. So that needs to be functional too for me to be on the water, and it's not working. So I need to fix that too. So we got a laundry list of things to do to the boat before we can get back in the water. I need to service the wheel bearings, because I have not serviced the wheel bearings since I've had this boat. So it's been 5 years. It's been over 5 years since the wheel bearings have been serviced, and they need to get serviced before I have an issue that something locks up. I was always thinking that I'm just going to buy new axles, because this boat trailer is old. It's a 2008 McLean trailer, and it was a used one, and of course it had miles on it. Everything on this truck on this boat, it's got miles on it. It's just used and refurbished and be repurposed and reused, to keep the cost down. What I did was, though, I was looking online, because the spindles, I have the torsion style axles on this McLean trailer, which I love them. I love them over Lee Spring any day. They beat Lee Spring all day long, man. The Lee Spring style with the drop axle that I had on my other boat, on my Dargo, it always, where that L drop and then the spindle goes out, it always rusts out right there, and it breaks. And when it breaks is usually when you're driving down the road and it comes off, and then your trailer, you lost the whole wheel and the axle, and you're stuck on the side of the road and you can't go anywhere because the whole spindle came away from the axle. So I've never liked those style. I think I replaced it once or twice on my Dargo boat, and I was always having to keep an eye on them. They're just notorious So when I got this one and this torsion style, I love that because it's kind of a wave, and then it's straight, and then it's got a torsion that it takes the shock like normally like a leaf spring would do on the end of it, and then your spindle runs through that torsion, and it's done really well. I like that. But the problem is this boat has been in the trailer had been in the salt water a long time ago. I don't know what kind of boat it came off of. It's not even for this boat, but it was modified for this boat. But it was some type of flats boat that sat on this trailer, because it's a flats boat trailer, but it wasn't this particular boat. And anyway, so what it did is, what had happened, not what it did, but what had happened is the spindle that runs through the torsion part of the axle on the backside is so corroded, the bolts or the nuts are flaking off, and there's no way you can get those off. So I don't know if I could beat those out with a hammer, or I'd heat it up with the torch and get those out, because that'd be the most economical way to do that. Because I found the spindles, they're only like $71 a pop, and I'd need 4 of them for this boat. If I can't do that, since it's a torsion style, I have to buy the whole axle, and the axle, each one is probably about $700 each, right in there, for this particular boat. So I would like to avoid spending that kind of money. That's just something I need to look at. I need to get in there and see if maybe I can heat it up, take the torch, cut the end off, and just hammer them out. And if I can do that, then that'll save me a lot of headaches. Installing the axles are easy because there's only 4 bolts on each side. That's no big deal. It's just the hassle of spending that kind of money on this to keep it up and going. And like I said, whoever had owned that trailer before and whatever boat was on it, they never did get back there and spray any rust corrosion underneath there on anything that was galvanized or stainless steel, and they should have. And Corrosion X, man, I live by that. I spray it on everything. Everything that I know that's going to be an issue. But that's where it sits. So we need to I do have another tire. I got a spare tire. I bought a brand new tire. I put 3 new tires already on this boat, up to the point to where it had broken down out there in the flats on the last video. I already had 3 new ones installed. I have the 4th one, and that'll have 4 new tires all the way around. My issue with tires is the Carlisle tires. That's why I hate Carlisle. I've never had any luck with Carlisle. Maybe you have, but Carlisle to me is a subpar tire, and I've always had issues with Carlisles on anything that I've ever put them on. On my Dargo boat, they were always blowing out. The tread would wear out, and then the sidewalls would go on the inside of the tire, and the whole thing would come out and blow out. Just on my gooseneck trailer, the same thing. Carlisles don't last. On my flatbed trailer that I got back there in the back, I got my F350 cab on that I'm working on restoring. Same issue. My box trailer, you don't know how many blowouts. That's why my side of my trailer, my fender skirts are gone, and it's all beat up on the side, because I've had multiple double blowouts at the same time on Carlisle tires that were new. They're just, to me, they're junk. I hate them. I came across this Enduro tire by Goodyear. It was recommended, and so far I've been pleased. I just took a trip to California. I just drove, what is that, 30, it's about 1,600 miles over, 1,600 miles back, and then plus whatever else extra driving. So about 3,600 miles I just drove with that. And I had 4 Enduro tires on there, and I didn't have a single one blowout. My trip to Massachusetts, I had 4 blowouts with Carlisle tires. My trip to Missouri, another trip that I took to Missouri, I had 3 blowouts, and they were all Carlisles. So I have never had any luck with Carlisles, and I'm not going back with them because, I have Discount Tire. And that's their big thing that they push was Carlisle. So I guess maybe now they've had enough customer complaints, and they're carrying a different tire in stock that you don't have to special order and wait for it to get here. Because what I put on my bigger trailers, on my gooseneck and on my my flatbed heavy duty trailer that I have back there, I use the XPS over the road tire, the Michelin. Best over the road tire. It's like a steel belt tire. Those things last forever. I took one in to get it replaced here a while back, and the code date on that tire, the guy couldn't believe it down there at Discount Tire, because they were trying to sell me the new style Michelins. I said, no, I want these. He's like, well, we don't carry them in stock anymore. I'm like, well, then I'll wait. Just order it and I'll come pick it up. I'll leave the rim with you, and when it comes in, mount it and then call me and I'll come get it. 2000. So do the math on how long that tire lasted. Super long time. On my white F4 350, that's all I used to run were XPS on that one when I had my dually over the road tire. They're perfect for over the road. They're not any good for getting off the road. You know what I mean? If you're doing any type of off-roading or you're in some soft soil and stuff, they're not no good for that. Because even in that F350 that I had, that I sold, that dually, it was a 4x4, and it'd just be some little bit of soft mud, and you'd have it in 4-wheel drive and it'd just spin. But off-road, they're not any good. But over the road for pulling, hauling, tire lasts forever. They're expensive, but they last forever, and they're good tires. So I'm going with the Enduro because I was really impressed on this last trip out to California that I just took, and that was another reason why we haven't been out too, because I had to go take care of some stuff out there. But I'm impressed with that Goodyear Enduro, and I already have 3 on the boat trailer. I'm gonna mount another one that I just picked up, so those will be good. I just need to pull everything off, service the wheel bearings, because I have not serviced the wheel bearings. I don't have the buddy bearing system on this trailer. I need to add that to the hubs. I have, I think, 2. I need to probably go buy 2 more because it's a double axle, and so I'm going to add that too, so it's easy to grease them up. But I haven't had any issues. I mean, I've driven this thing a lot for the last 5 years, and I haven't had any issues out of the bearings. So before I have any issues, we're definitely going to service and maintenance them. I need to change the oil in the engine. I need to change the impeller. I need to check, just go through and check everything and make sure everything's functional. And then we'll be back on the water, guys. So it's getting dark. You kind of know the history with Cassie. That's another reason why we haven't been out. Just trying to let her leg heal up some, you know, to where she'll be okay, and not injure herself more. But we'll see you on the next one, and hopefully soon we'll be back on the water. So the next couple of videos are going to be, I think I still have one for the truck where I changed the dash out that I haven't posted yet. I need to finish editing, and then there's gonna be a series of them on the boat, on the wheel bearings, on the impeller, on the if there's any fuel issues, that too, and whatever else I can see, you know, cleaning the boat up and getting it ready to go back out. So hopefully sometime this month, keep our fingers crossed, Cassie and me will be back on the lower Laguna Madre. Y'all have a good day.
Good job, Chica. Good job, Cassie. You did a good job. Don't need to shy away from the camera. Oh, she's camera shy. Good job. Let's catch another one.